Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and but the mother has went for a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
McSherman is a demon.
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for being here. This is another ATS News live stream, a deep dive into the Watts case. We have a whole series on these live streams, specifically on a Chris Watts playlist. We are covering other cases, but we are definitely down a few rabbit holes with this one. And you guys have requested these live streams, so I am bringing you guys what you want. So hit that like button, and thank you to Johnny, my sound guy, saying everything sounds good. Appreciate it. And hello, Bubba and Sherry, Adrian, Bella, Planet Jace, everyone that's here right now. Cowboys here, Jay, Dustin. Okay, we got the whole crew. So we're pretty much just going to continue the FBI interview. I do want to start off with one of Shanann's Facebook videos like we did last night. This one is also from June, just like the one we played yesterday. The one yesterday was from when they were in San Diego. This one was, I think, a week before or 2 weeks before they made that trip. And they are discussing the baby, Nico, and just being silly. Again, I like to play the Facebook videos to kind of bring us back to what this case is all about. It's not just about digging into Chris and everything going on with him. And I will give you another update about Chris as soon as we're done with this.
Do I have in my belly? Hey Bella, how many babies do I have in my belly?
5.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's a lot of babies. You better grow up really quickly, 'cause I need help.
It's already tough. It's already tough.
You didn't kiss the baby?
No.
Do you kiss the baby in the morning and at night before bed?
I'm kissing it right now.
You're so funny.
Well, I'm going to kiss it in your bed, my bed, and your bed.
Want I tuck you in?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll sleep in your bed.
Oh, I know. But you sleep in your bed like a big girl.
I want to sleep in your bed.
Again, we just like to remember the victims in this case. It's very mind-boggling how a father can get to, where he's at right now in prison. I didn't want to go on camera. Like, I still have my frownies on my forehead. If you guys know what frownies are, then you'll understand. But I just realized one of the updates I wanted to give you guys, I don't have on my computer. It's on my phone. Pretty much, do you guys remember when we were discussing Dylan Tallman, which is that guy that Chris was in prison with, cellmates with, not David Carter, but the other one who he got a disciplinary write-up for sharing, what was he sharing? Boxers and other items in prison. It made the news, I think, a year or two ago. And then we discussed how they were writing a book together. And if any of this is ringing a bell, chat, just let me know. So they had just written a book together about a devotional scripture type book. They were sharing boxers. They were. Yeah, I guess I can't remember the story, but they had a whole story about it. pretty much they wrote this devotional book together this year. And then it came out that Chris wanted his name like detached from it. So Dylan came out with a different one. And yes, they were sharing cream or lotion or something like that. So then Dylan came out with another one. And hold on, let me just read the post. It's in my Facebook group, my Watts Facebook group. So then he republished the devotional book without Chris's name on it. Remember, they had the picture of Chris on it, and it was a picture from him and Shanann from a trip that they went on. Anyways, hold on. I'm trying to find out. Okay. Okay. I wonder if I can share my screen without showing my face. Hang on. Just to, you guys got to see this. All right. So here is the next book. This just came out, Dylan. It's called The Cell Next Door. This looks very much like the same font and almost the same name as the Netflix documentary on the case, remember? So pretty much, yeah, great picture of him. Don't mind me, guys. Alrighty, so let me read the back of the book. The author of this book served his time in prison, celled up side by side with Chris. The two grew close and were co-authors at one point until recent complications. This book is basically a 7-month interview of Chris and a year after his conviction. The writer brings this famous crime story from an angle never before told, which is firsthand knowledge directly from the source. So I just found it interesting that they wrote like a month ago or 2 months ago, they wrote a devotional book together. His name was on it. We were all up in arms, like, how dare he? And not only that, they used a picture of Chris. Thank you, Bean Bio Girl. They used a picture of Chris that was actually from an MLM trip that he took with Shanann, only they cropped Shanann out of it. So we were kind of saying like, wow, I can't even believe like they wouldn't even use a recent pic. They're just using one of Chris from before. Hold on, let me just pull this up so we're ready. And now Dylan republished that book without Chris and took Chris's picture off of it. And now this is another book that he's publishing about their time together in prison. And then it says, the two grew close and were co-authors at one point until recent complications. So like, what the heck? Apparently they had some falling out due to the devotional book and all that drama that came out, I think. I don't know. But hello, Seth, and everyone else who's joined. I know, Dustin, I know. Definitely think that Chris was involved in planning Shanann's death, which would still wind him up in prison. Hey, Melly. But for the rest of his life. Oh, that's good, Bella. I'm glad that she's back on her channel cooking. All right. No, the girlfriend has not written a book. She's turned down interviews with mainstream media, with Dr. Phil. She is hiding. Pretty unusual. All righty. So we started off going through this. We read through the discovery files from this day that he went in, August 14th, 2018. Now we're just going to get in back into it. So here we go. Chris was leaving off telling Coder how him and Shanann had an emotional relationship. And if you guys could just hit that like button, it's greatly appreciated. And I appreciate and love you guys very much for that. And he was saying that they've just fallen out of love with each other and all that. So that's what we're walking into right now.
If you
going to work with us being together, or separation, I think, is going to be the best possible route for us. And that's when like all the crying and everything proceeded, and it was very hard just to talk about that. But I needed to do it face to face.
Okay.
And I needed to see her face, like, while I did it. I couldn't text, phone, whatever. I needed to be face to face and be able to see her and know that she was going to be at least reciprocating back to me.
Oh, what did she say?
She said that she wanted to kind of work on it, but if that's the way I was feeling, then she respects that.
Okay.
And she said that most of the time when you have kids and you have a relationship where people, like, they don't love each other anymore, they fall out of love, this connection, that having a kid, even bringing a new baby into the equation, doesn't always work as keeping, like, the couple happy and the kids happy. It's like, it almost is like better if two are on different sides.
Yeah, you don't want to spend your whole marriage disliking each other and faking it for the kids.
Yes, and that's one thing.
Okay. Is that accurate? I don't
No,
want
that's totally accurate.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want to be the people parading around with like a mask on when their kids are around, and then when the kids go to sleep, you just go your separate ways.
Okay.
It's like, that's what I don't want.
Okay.
And that's why we're talking about that separation that night.
Okay.
And that's why I got so emotional right there.
Okay.
And isn't it funny how he says that's why we were talking about the separation that night? Okay, well, first off, in I think the prison interview, or maybe even when he talks to Tammy, we'll figure that out. But for sure in the prison interview, he says this conversation happened when he woke up for work in the morning. He says, I get up for work in the morning, and we had this conversation at 4 a.m. Now he's saying that this conversation happened at night. And it's not like 1:48 in the morning when she gets, I don't know. He's all over the place. But Jay says that he doesn't think that Shanann felt they were drifting apart at all. See, I disagree, because of the interview that during the investigation, this guy who was a lawyer, a divorce lawyer, comes forward and says, I recognized Shanann when I saw her on the news. I realized that I spoke with her back in March or April, and she was very much interested in divorce laws in Colorado. And we met just by chance at a hibachi dinner restaurant. Yeah, exactly, Jay. I think that she was blindsided by his cold behavior. Like once he got to North Carolina, and throughout July, which we've read through all this stuff in previous live streams, there were times where she was calling him and he wouldn't answer. And then he'd get on the phone with her and want to rush off. And then there'd be a text message from her saying, like, sorry if you were busy, I just wanted to talk to you. So immediately, as soon as she leaves from North Carolina, he puts up a wall. And we end up finding out that a lot of his time was spent at NK's house. So obviously he's not going to be sitting there on the phone with his wife while he's at NK's house telling NK that they're headed for divorce. But I think that over time, which is another reason why I think that the affair with NK was longer than 6 weeks, is because of the conversation that Shanann had with that divorce lawyer. You guys, if you've ever been to hibachi, sometimes you end up just sitting next to somebody and that you don't know. And that's what happened to, hi, Angie and Pointer Lover, everyone else who's here. Thanks for being here. That's what happened to Shanann. She sits next to this guy. They strike up conversation. She was with a girlfriend, and she starts inquiring about divorce laws. So I think that there was some sort of disconnect between her and Chris well before she left to North Carolina. But once she's in North Carolina, I think she was blindsided by how cold and the wall and how distant he was personally. Yeah, I think it's possible, Kat, that the affair could go back to a year, maybe if they just met a year ago. What did Tony say? I'm scrolling up. Tony's always got good comments. Let me try and find it. I feel they met in 2017, at least a year earlier. I do too. Yes, exactly. The 4th of July argument that took place. Mm-hmm.
Emotional for you too?
Oh yeah, I was bawling my eyes out.
Okay.
I don't believe that Chris was bawling his eyes out ever with Shanann talking about their relationship. I just don't think that he has that in him.
So then as a result, how long did that conversation last?
It lasted, so about 4:15 when we started, we talked about the house as well.
Okay. What did you say about the house?
Like, we needed to sell the house. Like, there's no way, like, we can stay in this house and have another kid and be able to just keep everything afloat. And she's like, well, where do you want to move to? I was like, well, we can move to Brighton, we can move, are you familiar with the area?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So we can move to Brighton, we can move to Longmont, we can move, like, you know, wherever, somewhere that's cheaper.
Okay.
And she was like, well, because she had already contacted the realtor the week before through an email to see, like, what she thought. And that's when, like, I actually contacted Ann that day, like, a little, like, pretty much probably about 8 o'clock that day.
Who's Ann?
The realtor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and asked her, you know, like, if we can get the ball rolling, like, see what she thought.
So you said your wife called a week before to the realtor?
Emailed her.
Okay, so then this conversation early in the morning wasn't a shock to either of you or a surprise. It was the next step in the long conversation you have to have leading up to. Okay.
This was not like just like way up like a Big Bang Theory type thing. It was just like, this was, that's why it was just an emotional conversation, like, because it wasn't just like come out of nowhere left field type of thing. Like, we knew like something wasn't, we knew about what we wanted to do with the house. We knew like what's going on with it. Like, we knew something was.
Is it accurate to say that then the time when you were away from each other, when she was in North Carolina, the time when she was in Arizona, maybe the two of you knew that that could have been time you were talking, and so when you finally get together, it's, we can't wait another second, we're going to talk. Is that right? Okay. And tell me if it's wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay, so then the conversation starts at 4:15. You talk about each other and your marriage, you talk about the house, then what?
And that's when the conversation ends, and we're talking, that's when she said she's going to take her friends, or take.
Okay, so he's about to start lying about how Shanann said she was going to go to her friend's house and take the kids there. The conversation about selling the house and the plans to, we absolutely know that Shanann was on board with that. I think that Chris portrayed it as, we need to downsize. We got another kid coming. We can't afford this house anymore. We have to make realistic changes. And Shanann agreed. But really, Chris was just putting on a front because he wanted to sell the house too. But in his plans, Shanann was going to be out of the picture. So dealing with the realtor and everything that was taking place the day of them going missing was just a part of Chris moving forward with his life. Like, he already was on board with moving out of that house. Only Shanann thought that, you know, they were selling it to downsize because of the new baby. I seen somebody asked, so the thing about the pregnancy is Shanann claims that they had a conversation about it and Chris wanted it. When she talked to that divorce lawyer about the divorce, like measures and requirements and stuff like that in Colorado, that was before she was pregnant or knew she was pregnant. So why would she decide to get pregnant? I think that some people unfortunately do that as like a last ditch effort for their marriage. Maybe this will bring us together. Maybe a new baby is what we need. Maybe he'll be more interested if we have a boy. And I agree. Unravel says, I don't think Shanann ever thought he'd find someone else. Once he did and NK liked him, it was different. Just my opinion. Yeah, I think that him, finding NK was another reason why he put up that wall so quickly with Shanann, and she was just blindsided by it. When did Shanann mention selling the house? She was in a 3-way chat in text messages, which are in the discovery files, with the realtor. So she was on board with selling the house. She talks to her friends about how she can't afford that house if they separated. So she definitely was on board with selling it. Unfortunately, she didn't realize that she wouldn't be around for when they got a new house.
Her and her friends to take her and the kids to her friend's house.
Which friend?
That's what she did. She did not say.
So she did say, I'm taking the kids to a friend's house.
Yeah.
Are you sure she said that?
Yes.
You're positive?
Yes.
Okay. That's good.
And that also makes no sense. He is claiming she told me she's taking the kids to a friend's house, except he texts Shanann in the morning and says, if you take the kids anywhere, let me know. Well, what do you mean? I thought she told you, you're telling Coder here that she told you she was taking them somewhere. But yet your text message, which was staged, as we all know, to Shanann said, if you take the kids anywhere, let me know. Like, it's just, he can't even, and I think Coder knows, like, he's just full of BS.
Now we're back to the blowing off steam probability, which we like, right?
Yeah, that's what I like.
Okay. So let's, if we're going to play the DVR, let's rewind 5 minutes. So we're at the house. You're talking about the house. You're saying this isn't going to work with the kid. We're going to sell this house. Then how do you remember what led to her talking about the kids?
As far as like taking them to a friend's house?
Yeah.
So the text messages, the 3-way text, Shanann was in the chat, but she wasn't really participating on the day of her, being gone. In fact, the realtor says, like, haven't heard from Shanann all day. So they were texting previous to her going missing. So it couldn't have been NK using her phone, because the realtor, was conversing with Shanann about it before Shanann ever went missing. So Shanann still had her phone when that chat started. And then on the day they went missing, which was Monday, the realtor was just, following up with things and was like, said to Chris, like, haven't heard from Shanann in the chat. And then he's like, oh, she went to a friend's house, or some lie that he told the realtor. But yeah.
Like, what conversation did you guys have?
Well, that's when I rolled out of bed, and that's when she told me, like, I'm taking the kids to a friend's house today, and I'll be back later.
Are you sure she said she'll be back later?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how positive?
That's a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
Okay. So she said, I'm going to take the kids to a friend's house, but I'll be back later. Why?
From what I just told her.
That doesn't make sense, though, because you'd be at work. Why would she have to leave?
That's the thing, like, why, I'm not sure why she wanted to go somewhere.
Okay.
But that's what she wanted. Like, maybe she didn't want to be in that house after what we were just talking
Fair enough.
about.
You just talked about, it's no longer mentally, emotionally her house then? Okay. So let's focus on, I'm going to take the kids to my friend's house. What does that mean?
Hopefully it's someone that she trusts. Hopefully it's someone that she knows pretty well, and hopefully maybe they have a kid that Bella and Celeste can play with.
But you have no idea who that would be?
Because we've exhausted all those people.
Okay. Does that surprise you? Because I don't know your wife, but maybe that's something that's in her wheelhouse. Does that surprise you that she said that and did that?
It doesn't surprise me that she went somewhere. Like, she said it could have been a play date.
Okay.
But she was very vague in the fact that she just said she was going to a friend's house.
Okay.
And didn't say who.
Okay.
That's why I texted her, like, if you can tell me, like, where the kids are.
What time did you text her?
That was 7:40.
Okay. And no word from her, obviously.
No.
Okay. So then we're at I'm going to take the kids. I'm going to go to a friend's house. You sure she didn't say I'm going to take them somewhere, to a hotel or to a...
Oh, no.
You're positive she said to a friend's house.
Yeah.
And not just someone's house, but a friend's house.
Yeah, because, like, if it was a hotel, I would have definitely asked the question, like, why are you going to a hotel?
Yeah. Okay.
That wouldn't, yeah.
Where can we look to find friends that you might not know about?
Honestly, Facebook's the only place.
Facebook?
Because that's the one she frequents.
Okay.
That's the only place.
What's her Facebook account? Or her username?
I think it's Shanann Watts.
Just regular Shanann Watts?
Well, they have access on her phone.
SHAN?
ANN.
ANN. And so they can, I think they can log into the phone, right? I think they're in her phone, right?
Oh yeah, they just gotta hit the icon and it's right there.
So it's right there. They can
They can do whatever they want.
And they can, okay. All right.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. It's always logged in.
Okay. Doesn't she do something online? Doesn't she have an online presence or something?
It's with Thrive, the direct sales business.
Is that like her job?
Yeah.
So it's called what?
Thrive. Yeah. The company's called The Bell, but the company's called The Bell.
Lavelle?
Yeah. LE-VEL.
LE-VEL. Okay.
Yeah, but the product's called Thrive.
Okay. What is it?
It's probiotics, prebiotics, vitamins and minerals. It's all plant-based stuff. It works very well.
Dietary, supplementary. Okay. And what does she do for them?
She's a promoter.
Okay. Sales?
Yes.
Okay. Is this a, I think I've heard of Thrive. Is this like you try to sell it personally to people you know? Okay, so she doesn't have a storefront that she works at?
No, it's all cloud-based.
Okay, home-based. She
Yeah.
can work from home.
I can work anywhere.
And so where would be a list of contacts at Thrive that we could go start talking to people?
Oh, we've already gave them all to them. Like everybody that she contacts through Thrive, they have them in that
Please
phone.
have that?
Yep.
In that phone?
Mm-hmm.
Through what? An app?
No, just like all the people that she contacts throughout the day.
Okay.
Like from Addie and Sam, and they're all in there.
Addie and Sam, who are they?
Addie Maloney's one of her leaders back east.
Oh, okay.
Sam Paley, another leader.
Someone who's supporting her sales.
Yeah.
What about people who, because she's in sales, what about customers she tries to reach out to she doesn't even know? How does she do that?
Messenger.
You message strangers?
Either it's her Facebook page is I guess it's public.
Okay, so she has friends on Facebook that might someday think that they want Thrive, they can reach her.
Mm-hmm.
How else does she do it?
It's mainly just through Facebook.
Through Facebook?
Yeah, like if she has any, she might do it on Instagram every once in a while. She'll like sync them both so that it goes to both, but...
Facebook, and what was it, Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay, what's her Instagram username?
I have no clue.
You have no idea?
No, it might just be Shanann Thrives. Shanann with the underscore Thrives.
And notice how they're just talking about like basic, investigative questions. He's not using the like. That's why I really feel like whenever he gets into that mode where he's constantly saying like, he is, really scrambling for his lies. And Bubba and Melly, you guys have the same question. And the only way I can really sum it up in my theory, because it makes no sense, right? Like, why go through all this, get caught when you could have just walked away or divorced her? And that's why it comes down to that oil leak that he was attending to that morning. That was on the works radar. They talked about it even the Friday before, that there was a leak at that Survey oil tank that the bodies were found at. That oil leak was supposed to be a planned explosion, like the house explosion that happened a year prior. That house explosion that was linked to the oil company that Chris worked for, that family sued Anadarko for wrongful death, and they got millions. It was like an undisclosed amount. And so on top of life insurance that Shanann had and that Chris had out on Shanann, I believe that a planned explosion was supposed to take place and Shanann would be caught up in that. Again, this whole theory is explained in previous live streams, but that's why he couldn't file for divorce, because he wasn't about to get divorced, lose more money, lose the house, and pay child support. He would have rather gone through with this whole scheme to make it seem like work was related to the wife's death, because I don't think the children were in his plans. And he was going to sue, just like that family the year prior sued Anadarko, and he was hoping to get money out of all this. But everything fell apart because Nicole Atkinson showed up. and tipped off to the authorities. They couldn't get into Shanann's phone because she changed her password, so they couldn't stage, it being Shanann saying, like, I'm at a friend's house. It was definitely, yeah, I think NK was definitely involved. She worked at the company in the safety department. It's very deep. Like that's the thing, is this case, it's not just like Scott Peterson. He wanted to be a single guy, in my opinion. I think you have to follow the money trail.
Okay. So you don't do Thrive?
I do, but she kind of runs it.
Okay.
Yes, private eye. That's the thing, is that oil leak coinciding the time that the family goes missing and then is found dead on the property. That is just way too coincidental. He went out there first thing in the morning. He had a plan. He definitely had a plan, and it fell through. Yeah, he had the perfect plan until Nicole Atkinson turned up at her house. Right. And Shanann had just changed her passcode. So Chris keeps emphasizing Shanann's always on her phone. She gets back to her people, right away. So it was a red flag when she wasn't. He knew at that point, like, crap, like, I can't pretend to be Shanann on her phone because I can't get into it. She had just changed it to Nico's due date. No, the thing is, Lotus, I will link the live stream that we go through it. And actually, there are some articles in the description box that kind of explain things a little bit. But basically, the thing about the leak, and just like the leak at that house in 2017, is the house that blew up in 2017, the year before the Watts case, that wasn't next to an oil tank. It didn't have to be. The thing about fracking is these pipes run underneath the ground and they can go for miles. So all it needs is a leak and a crack in the pipe underground to start filling up something, aka the house that exploded. Here, possibly it would been I can't explain exactly because I'm not a pyro and I'm not, an arsonist, but you don't have to be right next to the tanks. You can be near the leaking oil line, which at Servi ran for miles on the ranch property. So that's the thing that people get tripped up on with the explosion theory. Why would she be out there? All she would have to have been is out on the main road near the tanks where the pipes were. So let me link that live stream that we kind of go through things, and it kind of explains it a little bit better.
You do it separately from her then?
It's a different team, but I'm under her.
Okay.
It's like she signed me up under her.
Okay.
So whatever I do helps her.
Right. Okay. What else are we not thinking of? So let's continue with, I'm going to go to my friend's house. Then what happens?
That's when I go downstairs, make my protein shake, get my lunch, everything ready.
Because you're not going back to bed at this point?
No,
Okay.
I gotta work now.
And this is somewhere near 5?
5:15.
Okay.
And then that's when I go out, get my truck, load everything in it, and 5:30
Okay.
or about what the neighbors think said, about 5:26 I'm gone.
And isn't it funny how he places himself in his own basement at 5 in the morning to do a workout? And we know that something definitely took place in the basement because the dog showed a lot of interest down there, especially near that bed that was there, especially near the stairs area. And in the prison interview, Tammy says they ask him a lot about like the basement.
Okay. And she's still at the house then? Are you sure?
Yeah, because she never came back downstairs.
And explain your house being down.
She never came back downstairs. Now, do we believe that? Or if something happened in the basement, is he trying to keep her away from where things actually happened, which she did come down the stairs? Or did she never walk down the stairs because she was carried out? I don't know. That statement is just kind of eerie. She never came downstairs. I just want to hear it again.
What the neighbors think said about 5:26, I'm gone.
Okay, and she's still at the house then?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I mean, she never came back downstairs.
And explain your house to me. Do you leave through downstairs?
I'll leave, yeah, go downstairs and you leave through the garage.
So then this conversation happened upstairs?
Yes.
In the master bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. And you're sure she didn't come down?
Like, once I was in the garage, so I didn't see anything after that.
Did you see her car in there?
Yes.
Once I was in the garage, and I didn't see anything after that. So is it also possible that he's loading his truck up with stuff for the for work, maybe even explosion theory, stuff for the explosion, and there's people aiding him in all this, and they're carrying Shanann down the stairs while he's outside? I just don't know what level Chris is involved when it comes to Shanann leaving that house. And I know that sounds crazy, but there was no alert to death in the truck, the garage, or the house. Yeah, the garage thing is suspicious. Which downstairs? And it's funny how his first statement was she never came back downstairs, as if she did go downstairs. Jennifer says, yes, basement was the place.
Okay, and you left when her car was in there?
Yep.
So it's clear she's in there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to determine if there's any other time she could have disappeared. And then, so from 5:30 then?
So it's clear she was in there, like talking about the house when he's outside loading the truck, and Chris says, mm-hmm. You know, he can't even say yes at that point, like, mm-hmm. Right. I'm feeling like at that point, when he's out loading stuff was going down in the house and she's being taken out the back.
That's when I went to work.
Okay. All right.
And then 7:40 is the next time I texted her.
And why'd you text her then?
I hadn't heard from her, and I was just seeing if she knew, like, just seeing where she went.
I agree, Bubba. I really do. And not only did Nate, the next door neighbor, have a camera that Chris knew about, the people across the street had a Ring camera too. So I just don't think, as stupid as Chris is, I just don't think that he would be carrying his wife, you know, out to his truck in the early morning hours. You know, that would just be really idiotic. I also don't see the truck move at all. She was like 146 pounds. We never see like the shocks or anything move, as if he was, you know, placing something heavy in the truck. And also when they're looking at the footage in Nate's living room, Nate and the officer, nobody says like, what's this here? You're carrying something out that looks like a body, you know, like it was never seen. And I still don't see it. I know that that's the theory that the district attorney gave us. And he also said that all the deaths happened in the house, including the children. And then he took that back once people started seeing the shadows of the kids outside. So you have to remember, everything that the district attorney and the state has told us about this case is just their own theory.
Texted Shanann, right?
Yep.
Shanann?
Yep.
And asked if she could tell me where she was taking the kids out. Okay, so at this point, it's 2 hours later and you're thinking, I wonder where she's going.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that text on your phone?
Yes.
Okay. Then all the way, what happened between 7:40 and noon?
I was outside working.
Okay. Noon, texted Shanann to call me, and that's going to be on your phone too? Okay. 12:10, doorbell visitor.
That's when Nicole was at the door, and it pinged on my phone.
Okay. What's she doing there then? Oh, then 10 minutes later, you called Nicole to see what was going on, and she told me she couldn't get a hold of Shanann either, and that her shoes were whose shoes? Shanann's shoes?
Yeah.
Were next to the door, and her car was in the garage, next to the door, inside or outside?
Inside. There's like a little small rectangular window next to the door.
Okay.
You can see right in there.
Does that mean anything to you? Does Shanann, or her shoes always by the door?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you come in the house, does she usually come in the front door?
Most of it, unless she drives in.
Okay.
Then she goes into the garage.
Okay.
That was just from the previous night when she came in.
Oh, okay. So then, let's think about this for a minute. If she comes in, drives in with, what's your other car, Lexus?
Yep.
She drives in the Lexus, comes in.
She comes in the garage door that way if she drives in the garage. But since Nicole dropped her off that previous night, she came from the front door.
Oh, someone else is driving. The Lexus is already there.
The Lexus is already there.
Okay, so then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see what we're trying to do? We're trying to be like, did she walk out or was she taken out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it makes sense that her shoes are still right there.
Mm-hmm.
But she's obviously not wearing those shoes. Okay.
And see, Coder's like, did she walk out or was she taken out? And he's like, mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep going. 12:40. A few more efforts by Nicole to reach her. How do you know?
Because that's when she was still at the front door, and I was
to reach her at the front door.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 p.m. I'm now on my way home to check on my family. Is that just because you're worried based on the conversation with Nicole? Had the police contact you by then?
No.
Okay. 2, I arrived. Sorry, go ahead.
But Nicole says she was probably going to call the cops.
Okay. All right. Now, so it sounds like Nicole's pretty worried.
Mm-hmm.
More worried than you.
Well, so once she couldn't get anything out of her and nothing was going on in the house, I was like, all right, I got to go home.
But it sounds like Nicole was more worried.
Yeah, because if she doesn't text me, like.
Here we go. Now he's going into the spiral of like when he's being asked, Nicole Atkinson seemed more worried than you. So now there's heat, subtly, because that's the thing about Coder's approach, which is, brilliant in a way, because he's playing the good cop. Like, okay, so this is weird. She left her shoes there, and then Nicole Atkinson shows up, and it seemed like Nicole Atkinson was more worried than you. And then now Chris is trying to explain his side of things, and now all the likes start coming out.
I have my button.
Okay. It's in your truck?
Yeah.
Okay. And get inside the house. Shanann, Bella, and Celeste. Who are Bella and Celeste?
That's with my kids.
Okay. Oh, are not in the house. Oh, okay. Shanann's wedding ring is on her nightstand. Her phone is on the couch. Her purse is still here. The medicine for the kids is still here. The car with the car seats are still here. There is no sign of them anywhere. Frederick police officer and detectives are asking Nicole and I questions about where she could have gone or who she could be with. How did that go?
We tried to go through from what we could gather, where she could have gone.
Okay.
As far as because what we saw in the house, it didn't really make sense.
Okay.
So that's when we're just starting to look through the phone and just kind of call around. And once we found the phone and Nicole knew what the passcode was, just kind of load it up and see what transpired. And obviously there was 50 something text messages that popped through.
Okay. All right.
Because the phone was off.
Okay. What do you mean the phone was off?
It was off.
When you found it was off?
Off.
Was the battery dead?
No.
Why are you making that?
I have no clue. Why was it off and why was it not with her?
It's weird, right? Because if you're saying that she does a ton of texting and marketing and sales and calling certain people back, okay, how would it turn off?
You'd have to turn it off.
Okay.
Because it wasn't dead. It was 50% or so, I think.
Are you sure?
And the thing is, too, we don't know whose fingerprints were found on Shanann's phone. We know in the body cam footage, we see Nicole Atkinson handle it, her son handled it, Chris handled it, Baumhover handles it, maybe even Officer Coonrod handles it. So there were a lot of people touching her phone. So much like the rest of the house, we just don't have any information about fingerprints or anything like that was found.
Okay. And it was on the couch?
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of that?
So, usually it's not right by her nightstand.
Okay.
That's usually where it always is.
Nightstand in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about that?
No, that is weird that it was sitting on the couch cushion right there.
Okay. So, we back up a tiny bit? You come home, no one has been in the house.
No.
Okay, no one could get in the house, is that right?
Yeah, unless you had a garage door.
Okay, and that's how you got in?
So I got in.
So at this point, you get there, are the police there at this point?
Yes.
So you, the police, Nicole, that's it?
Her son.
Her son, what's her son's name?
I think Nick. I think his name's Nick.
Nick. And so you and Nicole aren't besties per se? You and Nicole?
Oh no, like we're friends, but yeah, my wife and her are really good friends.
Okay. And so Nick, you're not spending much time with Nick?
No.
Okay. Why is Nick there?
That he was just with his mom.
Okay. Is there anything weird about Nicole and Nick?
Not that I really think of.
Do you think anything about your wife not being around has anything to do with Nicole and Nick?
I would hope not. I mean, like, Nicole is one of her good friends.
Okay.
I don't think they could have done, like, I don't think they could have done anything, like, as far as, like, helping her get out and then being so emotional when they couldn't find her.
Did you see how creepy his smile was when Coder kind of suggests that maybe Nicole Atkinson and Nick, her son, had something to do with any of all this? Like the way that he like looked at Coder, like smiling, and then he's like, it's like, what the heck? He's just so awkward. And like, watch this, watch this.
Okay. And so Nick, you're not spending much time with Nick?
No.
Okay. Why is Nick there?
That he was just with his mom.
Okay. Is there anything weird about Nicole and Nick?
Not that I really think of.
Do you think anything about your wife not being around has anything to do with Nicole and Nick?
I would hope not. I mean, like, Nicole is one of her good friends. I don't think they could have done, like, I don't think they could have done anything, like, as far as, like, helping her get out and then...
Yes, he smiles and he does, like, a laugh. Like, I would hope not. It's so weird. Watch. The timing and the picture, like, the audio and the picture are seconds off. Hold on. And then he starts biting his lips again. Like, hiding it, I guess I should say.
Anything else about that?
No, that is weird that it was sitting, like, on the couch cushion, like, right there.
Okay. So, can we back up a tiny bit? You come home, no one has been in the house?
No.
Okay. No one could get in the house, is that right?
Yeah, unless you had a garage door.
Okay. And that's how you got in?
So I got in.
So at this point, you get there, are the police there at this point?
Yes.
So you, the police, Nicole, that's it?
Her son.
Her son, what's her son's name?
I think Nick. I think his name's Nick.
Nick. And so you and Nicole aren't besties per se? You and Nicole?
Oh no, like we're friends, but yeah, my wife and her are really good friends.
Okay. And so Nick, you're not spending much time with Nick?
No.
Okay. Why is Nick there?
That he was just with his mom.
Okay. Is there anything weird about Nicole and Nick?
Not that I really think of.
Do you think anything about your wife not being around has anything to do with Nicole and Nick?
I would hope not. I mean, like, Nicole is one of her good friends.
I just don't get, like, what's so funny and humorous about that theory. Like, I know that Coder is not really thinking it, but he's testing out Chris's responses, I think.
Okay.
I don't think they could have done, like, I don't think they could have done anything, like, as far as, like, helping her get out and then being so emotional when they couldn't find her. I don't think, like, I don't think they could be capable of that.
So then they're at home. Police officers there.
Mm-hmm.
Then walk me through that.
So as we go through the house,
Do you immediately go through the house?
I open the garage door and I just go into the house. I'm looking. I just go in the garage door and I'm looking.
And remember, when he goes through the garage door to let the cops and Nicole Atkinson and Nick in, he stops at the Lexus, which is parked there in the garage, and he grabs something out of the Lexus passenger side, which a lot of people, and thank you so much, Johnny. Yeah, if you guys could just hit that like button, it's much appreciated. He grabs something out of the Lexus passenger side. People have theorized it was the wedding ring. We can't make it out 100%, but a lot of people believe that that's what it was. So he didn't, right away, unlock the doors and let everybody in. In fact, once he grabs whatever he grabs out of the passenger side of the Lexus, he walks through the garage door to go into the house. And then they're waiting at the front door for him to open it. And it takes a little over, we timed it in previous live streams, but it was over, I think, a minute or so until he unlocks the door. So a lot of people have been wondering, what was he doing inside the house before he let everybody in it? Another mystery.
Is the police officer saying, "Hey, let me talk to you for a minute"?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
What's the vibe like?
I go up there, shake his hand, but I'm opening the garage door at the same time.
Okay.
And then I go through, and then they're waiting at the front door. I go in, open that up, and then they come in.
Oh, so they didn't go in the garage door with you? Okay.
Well, they went in the garage. They didn't come in the way I did.
All right. So then everybody goes in. Okay, and then what?
I run upstairs and I look in the bedrooms.
Okay. And because that's where she would be?
That's where I would expect.
So is this a standard house, upstairs bedrooms, downstairs living area?
Yep.
Okay.
There's one office downstairs.
Okay. And then upstairs, then what?
I'm going to Bella's room, going to Celeste's room, playroom, master bedroom. I'm looking everywhere, bathrooms, and nothing.
Okay.
He's looking everywhere, but yet he's not calling out Shanann, Bella, Cece. He's just walking around the house, nervously pacing. We've gone through the body cam footage, so it's just interesting what we know of his actions and movements from seeing it, and what he is trying to portray it as here to Coder is just kind of the opposite.
And then?
Found the wedding ring right there on the nightstand, and then...
Right then?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that weird?
She only takes it off if she covers her hair.
Okay.
And she'd already covered her hair the week before, so
okay.
That was just probably a result of her conversation.
Oh.
I would think.
Okay.
And then Nick finds her phone on the couch.
And why did he find her phone on the couch? What's he looking for there?
No, he was looking
for clues?
Clues, just looking around too, and it just happened to run across it right there on the couch and next to the cushion.
So he found it. It's not as though you were calling it. He just found it.
Yeah.
Okay. Then what?
Saw Nikki puts the passcode in, because it was a 4-digit passcode before, and it was a 6-digit this time. So
now 13119.
Yeah.
She knew her friend's passcode?
Yeah, I didn't, because it used to be 2385, but when she changed it to 6.
How did Nikki know it?
Maybe she knew it over the weekend, because I'd never seen a 6-digit passcode on her phone.
Is that normal to you that Nicole might share her passcode with somebody?
I wouldn't think so.
Do you know her to have done that before?
No, because she's only told me her passcode before. Her phone's her lifeline. So.
Okay. Are she close with Nicole?
She's decently close.
How long do they know each other?
Probably at least over a year.
How did they meet?
When Shanann's mom lived here, Shanann's mom worked at she's a hairdresser, and Nikki was one of the managers.
Oh.
Nicole, sorry.
Okay. And then did Shanann get her hair done there or something by Nikki?
No.
Okay.
Shan's mom and Nicole were friends, and then Shan got Nicole into the Thrive, and went from there.
All right. So now we're at finding the phone, Nicole unlocking the phone, then what?
Waiting for everything to load up and watching all the text messages pop up, phone calls, missed calls pop up, and go from there.
And what were they?
It was just people asking, like, are you okay? Where are you? Type things.
Okay. All right. Okay, then what?
The police officer, he looks at the phone, he just kind of looks through it to see like if anything looks, up any of the text messages.
Mm-hmm.
And then I walk downstairs and I'm looking around down there, seeing if I see anything at all. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
And then I think that was at 4 o'clock. That's when because the officer, I went over to the neighbor's house to see if he saw anything. And
whose idea was that?
I think it was the officer, because he just went over there. And then that's when the
and isn't that another red flag too, which I'm sure is going off in Coder's mind? Chris is explaining that the neighbor, because we see on the body camera, Nate says what's going on, and Officer Coonrod says, "Oh, we're trying to get a hold of her. She's pregnant. She has low blood sugar, and we can't get into the house or a hold of her." And Nate says, "Well, let me go through my camera. I have a camera security system, and I'll let you guys like view it or whatever." So here Coder is asking Chris, okay, so whose idea was that? Now, Chris already knew about Nate's footage because Frank Rusek in his police interview says they were having break-ins in the neighborhood, and Chris talked to us about it and had some tools stolen. And Chris contacted Nate, the neighbor, and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." And Nate said, "Oh, don't worry. I got a camera out there. It'll be able to see if anything takes place." Hi, Joey Brooklyn. Good to see you. Happy Friday to you as well. So Chris knew about the camera, and this is how, all over the place he is and how bad of a criminal he is. He can't even pretend to say to Coonrod at the time, like, "Oh, well, my neighbor has a camera. Maybe we should see on there, like what's on there." So Coder is finding out here that it was Nate who was the one who offered up, like, "Okay, let's look through things. Let's look." Even the neighbor knew he was lying, and he was trying to tell the officer, like, he's not acting right. And the officer said, "Well, it's hard to say because, we just don't know how you would be feeling if your family was missing." And, giving Chris the benefit of the doubt, unfortunately, which he should have been suggesting to Detective Bonhoeffer, like, "I think we got to take this guy in for an interview, like now, today." Instead, they let him sleep in the house overnight and clean up things, etc. So unfortunately, Chris couldn't even pretend to be concerned enough to say, like, "Well, maybe we should check neighbors' cameras." Instead, Coder is finding out that Nate, the neighbor's idea, was to check the cameras, which nothing was found on there. Nothing was found. Yeah, he cleaned up the basement. And we know that because the body cam footage from Monday when they're in the basement, and then the body camera footage from another day, there's things in it that are moved around.
Neighbor called him back over to show him he had some stuff from the other night.
Okay.
To show him like whatever he had that put motion on it.
Okay. Who originally called the police?
Nicole.
Okay. And is that the time when you were telling me you're coming home and she's freaking out?
She said that.
So after Coder just finds out that the neighbor was the one who came up with the idea to check footage, he's also finding out that Nicole Atkinson is the one who called the police as well. So, as much as Coder is acting like he's calm and like just listening to Chris talk, like a nonchalant conversation, red flags are going off in Coder's mind. Like, okay, so you're not even the one who called the cops. You're not the one who asked to see cameras footage. Those should have been first things that any husband or father were thinking when, their pregnant wife and 2 kids aren't, able to be found, and the house looked the way it did, the car there, all that. So it's just, and yet Chris walks out of this interview and is able to kind of go another day scheming. The next day is when he goes in and talks to CBI and ends up being arrested that night. But what took place in between that time, we just don't know, as far as, his conversations with the mistress and other people. We know that there were conversations had, but we don't know what was said, pretty much. Yeah, lots of red flags. And at the same time, like, he has no grounds to arrest him at this point. Just because all these red flags are going off and he's super suspicious, Coder can't just say, okay, put your hands behind your back, you're being arrested because you're shady, So they're, looking for the bodies. And I think that Coder knows that something is very, very wrong here.
She told me she was going to call the police, but I thought, okay, I'm coming home. It's like, let me look through everything. Let's see what's going on here. And on my way home, that's when she called me and said, the cops are here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Frederick police officer and detectives are asking Nicole and I questions about where she could have gone, who she could be with. 4 p.m. Police check neighbor security footage and questioned them as well. Okay. Have we talked about that? Is that where we're okay?
That's where we're at.
Anything else about that?
No, I mean, it just shows Nicole dropping her off, but her not walking up, and it shows me loading my truck up.
And AR, I love your comment, because I very much dug into Dahmer's case as well. They said, this case has my attention as much as Jeffrey Dahmer did. It is so potent. And I think, much like Dahmer, the way that Chris grew up and the influence of his parents, etc., had so much to do with the way that Chris turned out. Much like every single one of us, it ends up, hi, Roxanne, nice of you to join us. Late is better than never, so we love and forgive you. Pretty much, I just think that there are similarities in a way with the parents specifically. If you've ever seen Dahmer's parents in interviews after the crimes, and then you watch the interviews of Chris's parents, it's like, oh, wow, yeah, this makes sense in a way. Can't get into it. That's a very deep conversation. But much like all of us, it comes down to the way that we were raised, our genetics, all that plays into why we are the way we are and why these criminals do what they do, So very interesting to watch Dahmer's father and mother kind of excuse Jeffrey's behavior and kind of weasel around things. And I think that is the way that Chris's family is as well.
About the time I told you I left.
Okay. Officer, detective, and sergeant come by to search the house and ask some more questions. How'd that go?
They just had me sign the paperwork to search the house. Okay. And I just waited outside and let them go through the house. There's a missing persons warrant, I guess.
Sure. Okay. And did they find any other clues? Okay. Begin calling around to anyone I know that could know something or maybe see Shanann. Calling locals, hospitals, and hospitals as well. 7:30 p.m. Friends, Nick and Amanda come by to show support. Okay, so that begin good. So 6 p.m. Begin calling around to anyone I know that could know something or maybe seen Shanann. What happened there?
Same thing, like everybody that I've talked to, it's just like they haven't heard from her, they haven't seen her, nothing. Called what's up?
Who's helping you make these calls?
That's just me. Just at this point,
Were you by yourself?
I was by myself. I'm sure Nicole and other people were doing that while they were gone.
Okay.
Because they were gone at this point.
Where did Nicole go?
Back to her house.
Back to her house.
She was there when they came back to search the house.
Just wanted to touch on this. Lambs Bond said, I haven't seen all the interviews of NK, but I never heard them ask any questions about being a witness. So we know through the discovery files that she's listed as a witness for the prosecution. Even though it never went to trial, she was on their list. And then when NK is in her last interview, which is on camera, Someday we'll get it into all those. I know her voice is terrible to listen to. But there's a part where she talks to Kobach and she says something like talking about her friends. And she's like, I didn't tell them that I'm a witness. So she kind of like says it and it's like, oh, so she's under the assumption and knowledge that she's a witness in this case. So that's where that comes from. Does that kind of like answer your comment or explain it a little bit?
Nicole was?
She was parked outside.
When is this, 5 o'clock?
Yeah, she was parked outside.
Did she come in and help them?
No.
Why not?
Well, because they told me to wait outside.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Is there any weapons in your house?
No.
Okay. If we wanted to...
Yeah, the problem, Lamb's Bond, is I think that, and we've seen this happen in other cases. What is the documentary on Netflix called? It's about the opioid epidemic. Crap, I can't remember the name of it. But this happened in that case. They made somebody who should have been a suspect a witness. And at that point, the case is sort of botched in a way. Like once you start like putting somebody on your side as the prosecution, your witness, but really come to find out that they should have been somebody who you were suspecting, like things kind of start falling apart. So they could have swabbed her. I think they were kind of treating her as they wanted her to be like Amber Fry was for Scott Peterson. They wanted to mimic that whole narrative. He left his wife, he killed his wife and kids to be with this young woman. She was only 4 years younger than Shanann. That's what they wanted to happen. And then things started to fall apart, I think, behind the scenes, and they pushed for this plea deal. I think that they do have her DNA possibly, but things were never completely processed. Like everything kind of got halted. Case broke mid-August. He signs the plea deal at the end of November, and that's it. CBI comes out saying we weren't done investigating. We didn't finish our interviews. Everything got halted, and we were told to stop as soon as he signed the plea deal. That is like not verbatim, but pretty much what CBI agent said. So the reason why I think they have her DNA is in her interview with Kobach. She gets handed a water bottle. And then as Kobach is walking her out of the room, she's got the empty water bottle in her hand, and he offers to throw it out for her. And he takes a water bottle, and then they leave and walk out into the hallway. So I think that they had her DNA just from that water bottle. But like I said, the plea deal and pretty much halted everything. And we don't know what any process of DNA took place in this case. We don't have Chris's DNA on the victims confirmed. We don't have Chris's DNA at the oil tanks confirmed. Everything that was being processed just stopped. So you can go through this almost 2,000-page discovery and you realize like, wait, there's nothing mentioned in here about, DNA. So yeah, that was something, Cindy, that I caught like very, very early on, like when I think 2019, when I watched every single interview here. I mean, this interview right here, I've seen, I don't know, this is probably like my 5th time watching this. And I realized, that's what cops do at times too. They can, what's the term called where they can take your DNA like that? There's like a term called that police use. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyways, yeah, we just never got any lab work done. Yes, you can take fingerprints off of a body. We don't have that. In fact, the defense team was filing motions to get the necks swabbed from the children for touch DNA, even though they were in oil. And this touch DNA expert said, like, yes, we can still do it. No, it's not called stealing being biogram. Something like that. What is it called? Damn it. I watch so much law enforcement, like live streams too. Like I should know this. It's on the tip of my tongue. But they were denied. So Vittoria, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, DNA profiling, yeah, something like that. But it's something I've literally heard Duty Ron, Ed, and Police Off the Cuff use this term when they take the DNA, like when you drink a cup in your interview and they take your cup. Frick, it's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna have to Google it. But yeah, so they had a touch DNA expert on hand. Not probable cause, no. Damn it. And the judge denied the defense team the motion to swab the necks of the children. So they wanted to test the touch DNA of the kids because Chris was claiming he didn't do it. He was saying Shanann did it. I know that's just crazy. But they were denied that. So I don't know. We don't have any DNA process in this whole case, though, because of the plea deal they claim.
Bring a lot more people with a lot more tools and tricks to your house. Could we do that tonight?
It's up to you.
Okay.
I was going to stay at a friend's house, and I was on my way over there tonight, but that's up to you.
You're going to stay right at a friend's house?
I was.
Okay. If we were to get into your house without you there, how would we do it?
Punch the passcode in the front, 2385.
Okay, and that's the garage passcode?
No, that's the front door.
And I thought you said it was a latch or something preventing you from getting in.
I know, but if you don't latch it, it's...
Is it unlatched now?
Yeah.
Okay. We might think about that. I think it's a good idea.
All right.
What do you think?
I was just going to go to a friend's house because I couldn't stay there last night. I couldn't even sleep there.
What friend's house?
Nick and Amanda.
Oh, is that her friends or your friends?
They're both of our friends.
Okay.
I run with Nick.
Okay. And when you say her, is that your wife or is that Nichols?
Yeah, police need a court order to obtain DNA with probable cause. But like, remember how they got Koberger's DNA from his trash, and that was totally legal because it was in the trash and stuff? Like, this is where I'm saying, like, if you smoke a cigarette, like in your interview, and you throw it out, or that you drink water or whatever, and you throw it out, they're able to, take that DNA from whatever you've thrown out and use it. And it's a term, I can't remember it. It's not abandonment, but thank you guys for helping me try to figure this out. Yeah, warrantless search and seized of disposed items. Yes, but oh my gosh, Jesse, you are brilliant. Oh my gosh, yes. Now it's like, can I pronounce this? Surreptitiously. Yes, thank you so much, Jesse. You are, yes. Surreptitiously. Yes, they can Yeah, I know, Joey, you were like 3 minutes behind Jesse. I know you would have got it for us too. Yeah, in Rex Heuermann's crust, they surreptitiously had the profile of their DNA just from trash and something that was discarded. So I believe that is a possible, thank you, Jesse, so much. And everyone, thank you guys. I know you guys knew what I was getting at, but that is the word. So I believe that they were possibly able to get her DNA surreptitiously from water bottles from her police interviews. But like everything else in this case, we never got to that stage of them processing and coming out with what the lab said, etc., because the plea deal took place in November, and then that's it. Everything was shut down. So thank you, chat, and thanks for bearing with me. Surreptitiously is never on the tip of my tongue, but I'm going to try to use it more often, that it's a big word. Yeah, and it's kind of like it's interesting how they can do that too, and it's like, it's been done time and time again, and it's come out like in Rex Heuermann's case and Koberger's, like they can obtain it. Oh, sorry. Most of my notifications are turned off, but I'll get like a random one that like, I'm like, oh, why are they texting me right now? Yeah, it is a cool word.
My wife. Your wife's Shanann's friends.
Yeah.
Nick and Amanda.
I think they're waiting outside right now, actually.
Oh, are they? Were they the ones I saw on TV?
More than likely.
Okay.
That one bald guy?
Young kid with the brim ball cap?
Yeah.
Colorado or something,
Yep.
maybe?
That was Nick.
That was Nick? Okay. I thought Nick was... No, wait, Nicole's... What's Nicole's son?
Nick?
So there's two Nicks now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Nicole's son is Nick.
Yeah.
And your friend is Amanda.
Amanda and Nick. Yeah.
Are they married?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, I should say like a Nick and Amanda Thayer. Put it that way.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know the Thayer name. They showed up at the house or somewhere, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good friends.
Mm-hmm.
No reason to worry about that.
No.
How do you and Shanann know that?
The Amanda through Thrive, or actually Amanda was at Primrose at where the kids went to school.
Okay.
She used to be director there.
Oh.
And once she left as director position, when she left to go to a different school, that's when Shanann got her on Thrive and became friends, and me and Nick started running. And
okay, that's all right. Friends need to know commercial sport.
Yeah, and isn't it funny being Bio Girl that like he'll play dumb so that Chris explains things, and we hear him explain everything perfectly without using like, and then as soon as something gets pressed where Chris is put on the spot and he's got to come up with a lie or he's got to scheme around, that's when the likes start coming in. So we can pick up on it in this interview. You'll hear it in the one with Tammy. And then we've already gone through it like a year or two ago with the prison interview. And in that one, I think that he uses like the most, and everything in that prison interview, I believe mostly is lies. That's just my opinion.
Friend, is that Lauren Arnold?
Yep.
Who's that?
Shanann's high school friend.
Okay.
Lives out here.
And how'd she find out about all this?
Facebook.
And so did you ask them who and where Shanann might be?
Oh yeah, like Shanann, Lauren and Shanann were actually supposed to meet up that day.
To do what?
Meet up at the house for just pregnancy pal thing.
At your house?
Mm-hmm.
What time?
Don't know.
Was there any communication about that?
Not to me.
How do you know?
That was the first I'd heard of it, because she said that they were supposed to meet up that day. Oh,
when she came over at 8.
Yeah.
She said, holy cow, we were going to meet together, something like that?
Yeah, like that. When she heard about everything on Facebook about Shanann being missing, and she's like, yeah, her and I were supposed to, Lauren said her and I were supposed to meet up and do a little pregnancy pal thing.
Is Lauren pregnant?
Yes.
Okay. First kid?
Third.
Okay. And so, both third kids. So they were just going to meet up because they're expecting mothers.
Yeah, they're probably just going to just hang out and probably haven't seen each other in a while.
Okay.
I ain't worried about her though.
Okay. Who are you worried about?
Anybody that I know right now, like if they have not told me anything, it'd drive me nuts. It's driving me nuts because like there's no way like.
Here we go. He's talking about Shanann's friend and he says, I ain't worried about them. And Coder puts him on the spot. Who are you worried about? And he gets this big creepy grin on his face. And he starts saying like. It's like, no, tell us exactly what went down, who you're involved with this. Again, just because I say other people are involved, I know I get the comments like you're taking blame away from Chris. I'm not doing that in my mind. I'm just saying I don't believe the narrative that we're being fed 100%. I think he's where he needs to be, and I'm happy he's in there for the rest of his life, but I think that there were other people involved, and here it starts going off with the like. Who are you worried about, Chris? And here's his opportunity to come forward and just say the truth. I got involved. Yeah, we definitely blame Chris. I got involved with some people with a scheme. It fell apart. I don't know what to do. Or maybe say, I need, a lawyer, help me out here. But he doesn't. He has no backbone.
And so, both their kids. So they were just going to meet up because they're expecting mothers.
Yeah, they're probably just going to just hang out and probably haven't seen each other in a while.
Okay.
I ain't worried about her though.
Okay. Who are you worried about?
Anybody that I know right now, like if they have not told me anything, it'd drive me nuts. It's driving me nuts because like there's no way like the people that I know that have kids that could have helped her if she's at somebody's house right now, like they would have had to say something by now. With all this going on, there's no way they could have kept their mouth shut by now.
So then who are you worried about?
Honestly, like, I can't really say, like, if I'm worried about anybody right now as far as, like, any of her friends that I know.
Okay.
All of them are showing.
What about like anybody that Shanann doesn't know? Like, he keeps saying any of her friends that I know. I can't say anyone like that I'm worried about. Right. And you have a mistress. You have her friends who are, you know, that leave Jim alone, etc. He says it like such a dick. I'm not worried about them. He's so awkward. I know. I'm telling you, whenever Chris's hands are flying around like he's trying to swat a gnat, he's lying. Yeah, it is funny to see like the way he's trying to express things to Coder, and the hands do kind of play into that.
Like their deep concern about what's going on right now.
Okay.
And I think, like, with that deep concern, that can't be faked.
Okay. So then, who are you worried about?
It has to be somebody I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
And what do we always say in true crime when people say, to be honest with you, and they say something, they say, honestly. What do we always say? When people try to emphasize that they're being honest, they're probably not. And I stand by that theory in a way. Maybe it doesn't apply 100%, but right here, Coder asks him again, so who are you worried about? You know, Coder knows that there's more to all this. He knows Chris is involved, but I think he knows, like, this is more than, you know, just him. I mean, look, he's wearing a t-shirt. He had no marks on his hands and everything when he gets photographed the next day. Yeah, no need to tell us you're being honest, because honesty is assumed. Exactly. So if he's saying honestly at this question, then we can, you know, maybe conclude or speculate or theorize. Hi, Zawoki, good to see you. That he's, and everyone else who joined from the Melissa Jade stream, thank you guys so much for being here. You know, he's not being honest. So there are people that he should be worried about, that he is worried about, in my opinion.
So then, who are you worried about?
It has to be somebody I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
The only thing that I can think of is somebody I don't know.
And again, it has to be somebody I don't know, honestly. The only thing I could think of is someone I don't know. Right. You just said that. So now you're trying to emphasize that you don't know this person that you should be worried about, which you're saying honestly about. So it is somebody you know. Joey, thank you so much for being a member. I really appreciate you. And thank you always for moderating. Appreciate that too. I don't know, guys. Again, it's just my opinion. I think he knows exactly who else is involved in this. And he's, you know, just flat out lying to Coder. Everything is just a lie. And Coder knows it.
Okay. Does your gut tell you that Shanann and the kids walked out, or that they were taken out?
Yesterday I would have said they walked out. Today I would have said I'm leaning the other direction.
Okay.
And he can't even bring himself. And thank you, Gathering Place, for being a member for a month. They said, I'm worried about my kid. Right. That should be coming out of his mouth. And yet it's not. What was I going to say? Oh, yesterday I would have said that she walked out. Today I'm thinking it's the other. Like, he can't even say that they were taken out, because I think that that's the truth too. And the girl's left with Chris in the truck. So he certainly can't say that.
Friends Dave Cologne and Jeremy Lindstrom come by to show support. Who are they?
Dave Cologne, he when I worked for Ford, he ran an auto body shop. He actually works for Boulder County Sheriff's Department now.
Oh, okay.
And Jeremy Lindstrom, he worked in the sales department at Ford when I was a tech, and he works at a Ford dealership now.
Okay.
And Jeremy's daughter just watched the kids this past weekend too, so we know them pretty well.
Oh, what's his daughter's name?
McKenna.
Okay. Was she the one watching the kids the night before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I saw her name in a report or something. How did that go with Dave and Jeremy?
Oh, good. They're just there to show support, just chilling in the kitchen.
Just two of them?
And isn't it funny how maybe I heard it wrong? Hey, Melissa Jade, good to see you, and thank you for sending your chat here. I appreciate you very much. Isn't it interesting how they're talking about McKenna? And that's okay, seriously. Thanks for being here, though. And Coder says, is that the babysitter that watched the kids the night before? And Chris goes, mm-hmm. He doesn't say yes. He says, mm-hmm. And that's a lie. McKenna watched the kids 2 nights before. So Shenango goes missing, aka, killed on Monday. Sunday, they didn't need McKenna to watch them. And I agree, Zawoki, especially in the prison interview. There's a lot of we, us, they. He lied. So that's who watched the kids the night before. And he goes, mm-hmm. No, you didn't have a babysitter Sunday. You had a babysitter Saturday when you were out with your mistress. So right now, Coder, I think, knows about the mistress, but he's playing it off like he doesn't. Because they have Chris's phone, and Chris claims he didn't delete everything. So he's just trying to avoid, I got a babysitter. He doesn't want to talk about Saturday because he was with the mistress. So he doesn't correct Coder on this whole, that's when you had the babysitter the night before. He's like, mm-hmm.
That's me. Yeah, me and them.
And Lauren and all them had gone by then?
Oh, yeah. Everybody else is gone by then.
Okay. When they come over to show support, what are you guys talking about?
Just talking about, what could have happened. Do you think she could have gone somewhere? Do you think she's actually taken? Just random questions like that. And then they're just talking about just other stuff to kind of get things off my head a little bit.
Okay. 10 o'clock. I lay in bed and proceed to take calls from friends and family the rest of the night. How'd that go?
I'm just answering. Nobody can sleep as far as East Coast, anything Addie, Sam.
Who's Addie and Sam again?
Addie, they're leaders in Thrive.
Okay.
They're people that Shanann reaches up to.
Okay. Have we talked to them?
Oh yeah, he talked to them on the phone.
You have?
I texted them. It's all on there.
Okay. And so the real live communication since we couldn't find Shanann?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. Have police talked to them?
I believe so.
Okay. Just on the phone?
Yes.
Are they in North Carolina?
No, they're northeast.
Northeast what?
Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, over there.
All right. Who else calls?
See her mom, talked to my parents, talked to my sister, texted with Kelly, she lives in New Jersey. Oh, who else? Jeremy, Dave, all those people.
Okay. All right. Can we talk about something that's kind of hard to talk about? So when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything. Okay. And part of keeping an open mind is listening to you talk about your wife and your marriage. And the day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. Okay. So you can understand what I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. I know, I've talked to a few of my friends, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know. It's if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're going to look at me, especially with the way everything looks. it honestly just makes me sick to my stomach because this is something that I would never do. Ever. I know, like, you have to look at every vantage point. This is something I would never do to my kids or my wife at all. I'm not sure, like, what I could do to make people believe that, just because.
Well, one thing you can do to make people believe you is stop using like when you get pressed with a hard question or a conversation. This is another thing. It's like a lot of people say, what did he think was going to happen? How stupid is he to let this fall apart and not know that he would be the prime suspect? Another reason why I believe in the explosion theory, because it would have been made to look like an accident and he would have been treated as like, wow, this poor husband lost his wife. I don't believe the kids were involved in his plan. That's just my opinion. This poor man lost his pregnant wife. How horrible. Like, he would have been seen differently. But because he couldn't get into Shanann's phone, because the passcode changed, because her flight was delayed that night, because Nicole Atkinson showed up at the house because they weren't able to stage text messages from Shanann, everything fell apart. Explosion never took place. And now he's realizing, like, that's why he says it makes me sick to my stomach, because he knows, like, he's screwed at this point. He's already told the arriving officers that they had an emotional conversation. Remember, one of them asked him, can you elaborate on that? And he says, I'd rather not. So he tried to kind of keep that on the DL on day one on body camera, but it's just come out. Did I miss the part where he says she's a witness? It's not in this one. It's in NK's. Yeah, his plan failed. So that's why it's fallen apart on him. And that's why he's, sick to his stomach, because he knows, like, you're screwed. You are absolutely screwed. Yeah, I bet it does make him sick to his stomach. No, it's in NK's interview, Lambs Bond, the last one that she does, where she says, I didn't tell my friends that I was a witness. We'll get to NK's, but obviously it's going to take some time.
If they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But there's no, I would harm anybody in my family at all. I know we were having marital discord, and we had that conversation that morning, and then she goes, we have no idea where she is, or the kids.
He can't even say the word missing. She goes, we have no idea where she is.
I promise you that I had nothing to do with any of that.
Okay, we're going to have to stop here. Hour and a half. I have my pillow. It actually did help my back at all, like a lot, guys, but I like to keep things, an hour and a half, especially for replay viewers. So, and plus I think this is a good spot. He's got his back up against the wall. Coder is just staring at him, like, in this awkward silence of, the clock ticking, and he's just staring at him. And, like, I know that Coder is like, this dude is just lying, but, like, there's still aspects of this. I think that Coder at this point, because at this point, the conversation has only been in a little over an hour. And I think Coder's like, there's more to all this. There's a lot to uncover still. And thank you so much, Zawoki, for gifting 5 memberships, and welcome to those new members. Thank you so much for being here. Private Eye says the explosion theory is far-fetched but logical. He was planning to stage an accident, but it relied on someone else driving the Lexus out. The fact he goes straight to the Lexus is a big giveaway. When he grabs something, as soon as he opens the garage door, he goes right to the Lexus. I mean, there's so many things that you can kind of say, like, wait a minute, this, could be because of this plan that they had that fell apart. And again, the Lexus doesn't need to be driven to the tanks. These fracking pipes run underneath the ground for miles. Like I said, that in that live stream that I linked earlier in chat kind of goes deeper into that theory. Let's see if I can link it again. And again, it's just a theory. If you're looking for thoughts on the case that are not related to a theory, just facts on the case, then watch the documentary that I put together, because that has everything that is, that we know of as far as facts and statements by the families, and all that, pictures and even history of their relationship together. NK and NK too, but no, Shanann and Chris. I mean, it kind of paints a bigger picture of the case itself, but the theories come in with the live chats. So I will link that live stream right now. The weekends, I like to decompress from true crime. There was a lot of stuff that took place this week. There's Karen Reed trial, the arrest of the killer for Rachel Morin's case, so much other things going on that I was kind of consuming throughout the week that I need to kind of decompress from. And I think that it's good that we all do that too on the weekends or whenever. So that's what I'm going to do this weekend. And then Monday, I plan on getting back into a Monday through Friday live streaming schedule, because the case with Chris Watts is just very easy to talk about. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in with current cases. I hope you guys join me for the current case conversations, because there's so much to kind of discuss outside of Watts Island, as we call it. Thank you, Joey. And you guys all rest too and have a great weekend. And here is, in case people want more, the link that I just put in the chat is kind of the explosion theory explained. And there's articles in my description box that kind of paint that picture as well. Sprinkled Donut says, I pray one day we find the truth in this case. I pray that too. I've just kind of almost accepted that we might not ever. Sort of like the John Bonet case. Like, I pray that we get answers. Same with Summer Wells. I pray that they find her and that we get answers in that case. But there's a part of me that's kind of become so, like, it's almost like a callus that's grown over, where it's like, I think that, okay, thank you, Private Eye. I just feel like we might not ever. Thanks for covering this again. Have a great night, everyone. Enjoy the full moon. It's a strawberry moon. It's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I have to go check that out. The strawberry moon is so gorgeous. Don't want to miss that. So I'm going to check that out. Thank you so much, Missy, and everyone who was here tonight. If you hit the like button, I greatly appreciate you. If you just participated in chat, love you guys as well. If you became a member, thank you so much. If you gifted memberships, thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you guys. And again, we will talk on Monday, probably on a different case than Watts. And then we'll probably finish the week out with Watts going through this interview. Because again, we have a lot just from this one that we haven't gotten through. And then there's other ones that we got to get through too. So yeah, hit that like button. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we're going to talk again on Monday. Maybe we'll do Rachel Morin. We also have the documents, over 800 pages of documents for Madeline Soto's case, Stephen Stearns, all that information that we were reading through. We did part 1 and 2 earlier this week, if you guys missed it. That's also a very heavy topic as well, just to warn everybody. But that's true crime, right? And we're on the road to justice for Madeline. So we're going to follow that case closely. And yes, I will talk to my moderators and everyone else very, very soon. And you guys all have a great weekend. So again, I'll see you guys later.